and welcome to another Vlogmas video. This is going to be my top 10 non-fiction books I have read this year. This will be in no particular order, and I have my top 10 young adult fiction and my top 10 adult fiction book list, coming up, or possibly one went up yesterday. I haven't decided what order they're going to go up in. This is like as Christmassy as we're getting. We've got the Jingle Bells necklace, we've got the Christmas jumper, we've got the Christmas headband, the Christmas earrings, the glossy lips, and I've just refilled my mulled wine. So it's going to be fun. If you have missed any previous, slightly less Christmassy Vlogmas videos, I will leave my playlist linked up here. And a lot of these books that I have here, I have made whole videos talking about. So you get to go away and watch those again if you want to as well. This is in no particular order, and I do have some of them missing because I did quite a few of these on audiobooks. So first of all, we have I'd Rather Be Reading by Bogel, which just is not coming up in this light at all. I do have some daylight, it's just a bit dull today. Oh my goodness, that really doesn't want to come up there. I just love this. It is a collection of essays about what being a book lover is and means, and how it's wonderful and awful at the same time. She has a podcast which is, I believe, the same name, and I got to listen to her at Book Bar here in Denver, and it was just a wonderful experience. I did this on audio, but then bought the physical copy so I could get it signed by her, and I also I'm gifting this to some people this year as well, so it could be coming your way, you never know. Then I have Feminists Don't Wear Pink, which is curated by Scarlett. I have a whole video talking about why I love this one, so I'll leave that linked up here and you can go away and watch that. Then on the same sort of line as that one, we have Misogynation by Laura Bates. I actually ended up kind of reading this one twice because I did it on audio and I felt like I rushed it a little bit on audio. So I then went back and did it on Kindle. But I have a physical copy of it because the people at Simon & Schuster are wonderful, and it's just a glorious, glorious book. Oh my goodness. Laura Bates can do no wrong. She's amazing, and what she says about literally the true scale of sexism and misogynation in this book is just wonderful. I highly recommend it if you are interested in what sexism is today at all, even a little bit, whether you're male, female, neither. Read this book, it's wonderful. Then we have The Greatest Love Story Ever Told. I talk about this one in my for non-fiction November book recommendations. I will leave it linked up here because I show you some of the pictures in this beauty. Nick Offerman and Megan Mullally, read the audiobook. Highly recommend it on audio, but then you have to buy the real book to see the pictures, even though they do a good job of describing them. I did it on audio. They're wonderful. They are another couple who can do no wrong. I love them. I just, yeah. It was a great book. Then we have Paperback Crush, which I believe I have made a video talking about this one as well. So if I have, actually, do you know what? It's in that video, so you can go to that video, the 4 non-fiction recommendations, and see my thoughts on this one, because this is amazing. This is a signed copy, but I am going to give it to my friend who is a massive Sweet Valley High fan, because that features quite heavily in this one. So I really hope that she's going to enjoy receiving that one. Then a couple of books that kind of count as one. Yes, I know, I'm cheating. I do this in my adult fiction video as well, so make sure you watch that one because you see me cheating again. And it is the Rebel Girls books. So Goodnight Stories for Rebel Girls and Goodnight Stories for Rebel Girls 2, which I got at Tattered Cover here in Denver. Support your local independent bookshop. And I made a whole video talking about these ones, so I will definitely link that above and possibly below for you, because I think they're wonderful, and I may, well, reread one of them in January this year, because Rebel Girls 1 was just a great way to kickstart the year and to kickstart my reading year. It was just so much fun to get into. Mulled wine, am I right? Then on my list of ones that I don't have because I just did them purely on audio. I borrow the audiobooks from my library. Sometimes if they don't have them or there's too long a wait list, I use an Audible credit for them because let's face it, when you gotta read an audiobook, you've got to read an audiobook. So we have Gross Anatomy, which is by Mara Altman, I think. It is just wonderful. I've been recommending this to so many people. The audio is great because she reads it, but I imagine that the physical book is also excellent because you could flick back and forth. She covers our perception of, and specifically her perception of, areas of the body which are slightly more taboo to talk about, areas which we don't always talk about. Obviously, she covers things that are unique to females, but I believe this is a book which would be enjoyed by other genders as well. And that's kind of all I need to say about that one. It was just great, and I loved everything that she said. And it's like, why has nobody else talked about this before? I feel so much more normal now. It's crazy. Then we have two very similar books. We have I'll Be There For You, which is about friends, and Sex and the City and Us, which is about Sex and the City. And those are probably my two like all-time favorite TV shows. I could watch reruns of those again and again and again, and I have them on Blu-ray, and I have rewatched some of them recently. Just because the books made me want to, and it's been great. Reading both of those books gave me such insight into both of the shows and the pop culture surrounding the shows and the attitude toward the shows now, even though they finished both of them in 2003. Yeah, they were both just wonderful, and I so enjoyed listening to both of those on audiobook. I could just re-listen to the audiobooks, but then they would make me want to rewatch the shows again, and I don't have time to do both. It's sad, but I don't. And then finally, another audiobook that I did. Would love to have a physical copy of this, but it's very expensive, and she was just here in Denver, and she did so many events, and I couldn't go to any of them, and but I enjoyed the audiobook, and that is Becoming by Michelle Obama. I haven't really talked an awful lot on this channel here about it. I talked briefly in my November wrap-up about it, but I was kind of considering doing a whole video about it, but then I thought I'd kind of need the physical book, so I'll wait and see if anyone gets it me for Christmas. It was just wonderful to hear from her, to hear about her stories from growing up and her family and her relationship with her mother and her father, and how that relationship with her mother kind of kept on when they were in the White House, and her career and how hard she fought for everything, but that just made it so motivating for me to listen to. It was just wonderful to hear her story. I learned so much about Chicago and the law. And it was just great. Listen to it on the journey to Vegas and back. So it was a good long audiobook, and it was just wonderful, and that's why it's made it onto my top 10 nonfiction this year. So please make sure you're subscribed so that my other top 10s of the year and my wrap-up of the year land right in your subscription feed. I'm doing top 10 best and worst films this year as well, so you don't want to miss that. Also, please let me know in the comments what your favourite book or books were this year. I'd love to hear from you, especially if you enjoyed any of the same ones as I have in any of these 3 bookish top 10 videos. I will be back with another video for you tomorrow with more festive fun. I also have a very special guest star, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, coming into a couple of the videos before the year is out, so you don't want to miss that. Yeah, I will see you with another video tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching.